So he, yeah.
Oop. That's me.
So Brian, William, and Andrea all were interested, and there are 2 terms.
All right. Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Lunenburg Select Board. Today is Tuesday, June 3rd. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel, on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page, and will be uploaded to the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. We're going to begin tonight with public comments. Are there any public comments from the board?
No.
All right. I have a few public comments tonight. First, I'd like to thank everyone who participated in and attended this year's Memorial Day ceremony. Unlike the past couple of years, the weather was beautiful and we had a great turnout. I would like to recognize one of our high school students, Brandon Harris. He is a graduating senior this year and has sung the national anthem at the ceremony all 4 years of his high school tenure. He always viewed his participation in the service as a civic duty, understanding the importance of the ceremony, and I'm grateful for his participation these past 4 years. I'd also like to thank John Bowen Jr. for placing flags on the graves of veterans in town. One of the key elements of our Memorial Day ceremony is recognizing Lunenburg residents who have fought in our nation's wars and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And the list that we have goes war by war, but it starts with the Civil War. So this year I was curious, what about the Revolutionary War? I have my red book on the history of Lunenburg, and I did know that residents of the town fought in the Revolution. And sure enough, I went back and looked. 194 men from Lunenburg served in the Revolutionary War. But we don't have the information on how many of those residents did not make it home. So I reached out to someone from the Historical Society, hoping that we could work together to figure it out. And it turns out they're already doing a lot of research for the 300th anniversary, and we're willing to help out to complete that list. So I want to thank the Historical Society for the work that they do as the stewards of our history, and I look forward to being able to complete that list so we can properly honor all of our residents who have given their lives in service to our country. I also would like to share some of the feedback from the Lunenburg Cares Civics Group, who came before us a couple weeks ago and organized a town-wide cleanup. For the outcome of our project, quote, we hosted a town-wide cleanup on May 31st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Around 35 people braved the elements and participated in the cleanup. Each picked up around 1 bag of trash. Over the 6 roads, all of us collected over 35 bags of trash combined. We had a select board member, Michael Ray, take the trash to the DPW to make sure it was properly disposed of. Overall, everything went exactly as planned, besides the weather. If we were to change one thing about the project, we would have picked a rain date. I would like to thank the Lunenburg Cares Civics Group and to everyone who showed up to participate in the cleanup during a thunderstorm. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the racist incident that occurred at Lake Shirley on Memorial Day. If you weren't aware, on Memorial Day, a father decided to take his 10-year-old daughter fishing to enjoy a peaceful afternoon as a family. That father and daughter happened to be black. They were met with a 66-year-old white man who decided to throw rocks and racial slurs at them in an attempt to get them to go somewhere else. That man was charged with 2 counts each of assault with a dangerous weapon and assault to intimidate. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing to watch your community that you love and truly believe is a good community made up of people with hearts of gold go viral on social media because of a reprehensible incident of bigotry. And truly, you have to be a disgusting human being to throw rocks at a 10-year-old girl. But it's not the incidents themselves that define a community, because there are bigots everywhere. It's the response to those incidents that define a community. And the response has been an overwhelming repudiation of that bigotry. I hope that the community continues to speak up against hate and continues to be a community that welcomes all. Are there any public comments from the public? Mr. Bowen.
My comment goes in line with that. Thank you. 162 Highland Street, John Bowen. Every time I stand here, I have to be the shortest man that ever stands at this microphone. My comments this evening are not directed not to the board alone, but to the elected board of the Democratic Town Committee, as well as the Republican Town Committee elected board. Prudence is the theme of my comment. We're living in a very politically and hypercharged environment where anxiety and anger are crossing party lines. Our Republican government at the federal level decided to consider the month of June Title IX month in honor of Title IX, where the Democrats want the status quo that June is Pride Month. Both parties lobby along party lines regarding this. Our First Amendment does not allow for viewpoint discrimination, and some have heard me raise this form of discrimination when at one time an elected board member called out a public comment as disinformation. This is a misuse of protected political speech against the speech of a citizen, which obviously should never occur. Viewpoint discrimination is abhorrent. This brings me to my comment. Flags or religious images on public property, even though signifies us as a welcoming community to all, can be wrought with confusion, application, and possible abuse. Most towns have an ordinance regarding the use of town property for the display of flags, religious images on town property. All we have is a sign law. To avoid confusion, application, abuse, most towns have adopted that public property is restricted to only items related to government, such as flags, which is the subject of my comment, like a state flag, a town historical flag, or an American flag. We really need to produce such ordinance so we can remain neutral. Today's hypercharged political environment is why this neutrality needs to be done. The fact that Republican Town Committee is not here, and because this is not a town-wide decision but a choice left for the Select Board, is a problem, and every 3 to 5 years this could change just by your vote. This is the Democrat Town Committee propping up talking points without first engaging publicly with the Republican Town Committee, so all parties have their say here today. The process was not engaged last year, and it's not engaged this year, and that's kind of disappointing. We should always reach out across aisles. I believe that the request of the Democrat Town Committee in such a hypercharged, anxiety-fueled environment has not considered that this request may not be prudent at this time. And sometimes we have to step back to be prudent. Just because we have the right to speech is the time right to speak, and I think that's what we have to look at. This is a political party representative body. So I'm asking the board to be prudent at this time. I'm going to ask this board to say no until we establish an ordinance. This is not no never. No matter if free speech can be offenses, which obviously this is not, do we want our town to be welcoming? Then we need to exercise prudence. Realistically, the Democrat Town Committee should pull their request because that would be the prudent thing to do in this hypercharged political environment which our country is suffering through. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Are there any other public comments from the public? John Bowen, Jr.
John Bowen Jr., 162 Highland Street. First, I would like to thank Mr. Nozzola for his kind words and his public comment. And unfortunately, Mr. McLeod is not here, but I also wanted to welcome Mr. Letnan and Mr. McLeod to the Select Board.
Thank you. All right, any other public comments from the public? Not seeing any, we will move on to announcements, and I have one. The Friends of the Library will be hosting a book and bake sale on Saturday, June 7th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'll be open to all, and on Friday, June 6th, from 2 to 6 p.m., there will be a special preview sale for members of the Friends. Anyone is eligible to pay the $25 annual membership to join the Friends and partake in the preview period. All proceeds go to the 501c3 Friends of the Lunenburg Public Library, which gives the library $40,000 to $50,000 each year. Dozens of volunteer bakers donated delicious baked goods, and the Friends have been collecting donated books since last fall. It will be a fun event at the library, and we hope you can attend. Any other announcements? Okay. Communications from other boards. Are there any communications from other boards this evening? All right, seeing none. So we'll move on to scheduled hearings, and we have a meeting with the Lunenburg Democratic Town Committee to discuss raising the pride flag in Town Center, and I'll invite up Mary Ann.
Do we have to wait till 7:15 to start?
No, this isn't actually a public hearing.
Mary Ann Mascari, 54 Chestnut Street. Good evening, Select Board members. Some of you I know, some I have not met yet, some I've played trivia against. Just to recap, I've been a resident of Lunenburg for maybe just over 10 years now. I also am a sub in the Lunenburg public school system, mostly in the middle school. And most recently, I have been elected to the Parks Commission. I'd like to congratulate the newest members of the Select Board, Brian Leighton, and also Glenn McLeod. I do appreciate your work and dedication to your civic duty. I appreciate you stepping up to care about our town. I also care about our town. And that's why I'm here to ask the Select Board to approve a progress banner raising at our Town Center flagpole this Saturday, June 7th at noon. Why is this important to do? Why would we want to do this? There are a few different reasons why. One reason is the Pride Month occurs in June to commemorate the Stonewall Uprising of 1969. It's been a turning point for the gay liberation movement. Another reason is to promote mental health and well-being of LGBTQ+ individuals and let them know that they're not alone. Did you know, according to the Trevor Project's 2024 National Survey of Young People, that almost up to 40%, 39 and change, of young people have considered suicide this past year. And that number goes up to 46% for trans and non-binary identifying individuals. I don't know about you, but I'm sure most people are affected either through a family member or a friend that may fall under this category. Another reason that we think it's important to do so is to promote inclusivity and raise awareness of the discrimination, the bullying, and the challenges that this group faces. I recently read a quote that said, "Gay pride recognition was not born of a need to celebrate being gay, but the right to exist without persecution." Isn't that what we all deserve? To sum it up, recognizing Pride Month honors the history, it celebrates the strides made, and it gives hope for a more equal future and inclusivity for all Lunenburg residents. We all want our residents of Lunenburg to feel safe, accepted, and included. So I encourage you to approve this measure as has been done in previous years. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Hold on one second. Any questions or comments from the board?
I did have a comment that, for just transparency, that I am also a member of the Lunenburg Democratic Town Committee.
I have a question.
Sure.
Just for the public, because Caesar told me. When are you asking to display the flag?
If approved, we would like to do it on Saturday at noon at the town center.
Until,
Flag raising would probably be no more than a half hour at most with
and not
To
leave
take
it?
the
community
flag
member.
down.
Yeah, when would you take it down?
till the end of Pride Month.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Right. Thank you.
So I honestly have gone back and forth over the years on whether or not I believe raising the pride flag is the best way to achieve equality. But with the environment we find ourselves in now, I believe it's more important than it has been in a long time. This is something I've never discussed in public before. When I first ran for select board and I was standing outside on election day with my campaign sign, waving at all the cars driving by, someone driving by yelled out the window and called me a hateful slur. Now, I have thick skin. It was just one car out of thousands that drove by that day. And now I mostly joke about it because members of marginalized groups often use humor to cope with discrimination. But no one should have to deal with that. Something I've been thinking about a lot lately is the difference between tolerance and acceptance. Tolerance means someone maybe doesn't really support you, but they keep it to themselves. Acceptance means you truly have the freedom to be yourself and other people genuinely accept you. I don't want to live in a tolerant society. I want to live in an accepting society. So I support raising the pride flag because it sends a message. It sends a message to LGBTQ people who are watching what's going on with fear and concern that they're safe and that they belong here. It sends a message to families that maybe have two moms or two dads, that we respect their marriage and we respect their family. It sends a message to trans and gender nonconforming people that they don't live in a community that's going to target them just because of who they are. It sends a message that as a community, we believe everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. So thank you, Marianne, for coming in tonight and making this request. We appreciate it. And I move for the town to raise the progress flag on Saturday, June 7th, and for it to be taken down on Monday, June 30th.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on. Appointments and ratifications. So at first, we have the annual select board appointments. We're going to start the annual appointment process tonight. We do have a few new applicants that are here to be interviewed. One thing to note that is a little different this year is that a couple of the applicants have put down several boards and committees, and because we extended the deadline to just a couple days ago, we still need to identify a top board or committee to move forward with. So we will interview a couple new applicants, maybe try to identify a board or committee as a top choice, and then we will go through each board and committee to identify the ones that are contested, where there are more applicants than vacancies. Everyone will need to be interviewed for those, and if there are any other boards and committees that we'd like to interview. So a select board member can request to interview the applicants for any board committee, so we'll go through those and identify them as well. And then we have the town manager's annual appointments. Okay, so we'll start with the new applicants. We have a few here tonight.
Mr. Lasko? Yes.
Yep, he is here via Zoom. So, Mr. Laxo, I will pass it over to you. I see that you're here on Zoom, and I know that you were previously involved with the Historical Commission, but if you'd just like to introduce yourself and maybe speak to your interest in returning.
Yes, thank you. Is the audio
Yep, we can hear
on? You can hear me. Well, that's good. I've been a Lunenburg resident this time since 1977. I was here as a child for 3 years during the Great Depression, and so I've been a Lunenburg resident for some 50 of my 95 years. I have a background in machinery design and construction, consulting and so forth, specializing in packaging machinery for pharmaceutical products. I submitted with my application a summary of my past contributions to the commission and for the commission. And very briefly, at the request of town manager back in 2018, when I was appointed, I was asked if we could find a source for a replacement weather vane for the town hall. We did that. and I delivered it in April of 2019, and that new weather vane has, let's say, been in repose for 6 years in the attic of Town Hall. I also wrote an article for the media describing the design and manufacture of a weather vane. In February 2021, I began to write proposed amendments to the town bylaw for Chapter 134-4, demolition delay, to, let's say, tighten the requirements, the reporting requirements, and that was passed at town meeting. 2021, I photographed and wrote articles describing 12 different historic homes here in Lunenburg, and that was published in the Lunenburg Ledger, and several of them also appeared in the Fitchburg Sentinel. Jumping to the next year, 2022, I wrote and submitted a pre-application for a $25,000 survey grant, which was 50% reimbursable to the town. And in May 2023, I wrote and submitted the formal application for the $25,000 grant. It was approved by town meeting and was awarded to the town and is currently being executed. So those are a few of the things I've done. I left the commission for a year because I had a very time-consuming project for the Historical Society, and I'll quickly mention it. It's a book on Whalum Park in the Images of America series by Arcadia Publishing. So those books are now available at the Historical Society, and we're very proud of the accomplishment to be able to have done that. And that's enough from me. Is it enough for you?
Well, thank you, Mr. Laxo, for your involvement, your prior involvement with the commission, and thank you for being willing to return to it. I'm fully in support of reappointing you, but I will open it up to the other board members for any questions or comments that they may have for you.
Thank you for your service. I have no questions.
Okay.
I just want to thank you for volunteering before, all your contributions during that time, and for signing up again. Thank you very much.
All right, great. So it doesn't look like this is a contested spot, so I would be comfortable actually appointing you right now, Mr. Laxo. So I will move to appoint Mr. Laxo to the Historical Commission, term to expire June 30th, 2028.
I'll second that motion.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, thank you so much for coming in tonight, Mr. Laxo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to continuing service.
You're going to have to get sworn in again, so make sure you go see the town clerk.
I will do that.
All right, fantastic. Have a good evening. All right. So up next, we can go to Brian Villeneuve. I think he's here on Zoom.
Can you hear me okay?
Very softly. Can you speak more?
Yeah, let me...
All right, we can hear you.
You can hear me? Good. All right. I'm Brian Viano, and I'm looking for a new challenge, to be honest. I've been sick for, about 15 years with, it's abdominal neuralgia is what it was. It's constant pain in my side. So now that I'm through that, I'm just kind of looking for ways to see the world, just the way we exist or do in a new light, because I never was able to actually see the government work. And with all the things going on, I kind of want to get more involved than I used to be. As far as experience, I worked at TJX for 6 years. I was a senior tech support specialist. And I ran a lot of projects that required a lot of teamwork and a lot of instructions on the fly. So just looking forward to applying those skills in a further environment. As for what I'm doing now, I'm currently going to Mount Wachusett for a cybersecurity certificate. I'm interested in finding ways to keep us protected against all the chaos that's going around us. That's about it. Anything you guys would like to know?
All right, thank you, Mr. Vianu. I will open it up to any questions from the board.
So we have a few people who have applied and indicated interest in more than one committee, commission, in rank order, and Brian, you're one of them. And what I've tried to do was try to match up people's experience with their interest based on their rankings, and also the needs of the different commissions we have. So a question for you is, I see your number one was Personnel Committee. So you would be the first. I don't know if you would be the seed that would trigger the crystallization of the Personnel Committee, but kind of think that maybe your time could be better spent on another committee, because we certainly have needs. And I see you've been in the IT space and continuing with the cybersecurity. So I was trying to match up, but my question for you is, the rank order that you provided on your application, is that still true?
That's very up for debate, to be honest. I just put what seemed interesting at the time. Often I just need to make sure I do something to make sure it gets done, and I just wanted to make sure I got the application in before the deadline.
Okay.
So all of them I've listed there are probably about equal in importance to me. I know the disability one and the AV one are definitely in my interest, so to speak.
I feel like I'm trying to play matchmaker a little bit.
I know,
by trying to
yeah.
match people up here, so I'm
We
going to
are.
throw one out. And to my fellow board members, I actually had, now that, there still is a vacancy on Historical Commission, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So I had that one, but I also had PAC.
So did I, yeah.
I had public access channel
Yeah,
as well.
because I mean, Historical Commission won't be full, even after appointing Mr. Yasko, but there are 2 vacancies on PAC, so this would fill one of them. And I think maybe your,
My
IT
skill set's
techiness may
definitely-
help,
Yeah.
or be useful.
No, I agree. No, my skill set's definitely more geared towards technical and software engineering and stuff. Historical is more hobby and more like side interest, but it's not like my focus. If that makes sense.
Okay. So it sounds like you guys also had?
I did, yeah. I also thought, Public Access Cable Committee would be a really good fit for you. They do have vacancies open. It seems to align with your IT interest. If you're interested in knowing how government broadcasts and, writes policies around the channels that we operate, that could definitely be a fun opportunity for you. One thing I will say, we do not have to appoint you tonight. It is okay, because we're going to do this over the course of a couple meetings. If you want to have the opportunity to reach out to people who are on the committee already and ask them some questions, see what it's like, we absolutely can help accommodate that, if that's something that you'd like to do, if it'll help you sort of make your decision.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, talking to people who currently do it would honestly be a good idea, just in general. I have to admit, I'm a little inexperienced in government in general, so this is just, forgive me for being a little off kilter.
Brian,
No, it's all right.
another thing you might want to think about, being a student, I don't know what your schedule's like, but looking at the frequency and times of the meetings. And off the top of my head, when does anybody know when PAC meets?
I actually don't.
I think it is evening though, right?
Yeah, it is in the evenings, yes, because I know they've been on the evenings before. So, But in the meantime, Brian, I wanted to just thank you for being willing to volunteer for the town. It's exciting to hear about your interest in government. So what we can do is maybe connect you to some members that are on some of these committees already, so you can learn a little more. And then perhaps we can invite you in on June 17th to make a decision. How's that sound?
No, that would work quite well.
All right. Great, Brian. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. I was wondering if we do these together. Just kidding. All right. So next, I'll invite up Mark Muzzy. I should have gone first.
Mark Muzzy, 659 West Townsend Road. What did I pick? Agriculture.
Tell me
Not
what you
two.
picked.
Agriculture, Stormwater Task Force, and the MPAC.
MPAC.
3.
Yes.
So agriculture, we own a small family farm. We've lived at 659 West Townsend Road since, I think, 2001. So it's been over 20 years experience of trials and tribulations of owning a small farm. So we have experience with that. Stormwater was basically, I'm just sick of my storm drain and cleaning garbage out of it all the time, and it hasn't been, I think it's from the 50s or the 40s. And then PAC, it just harkens back to when I attended Fitchburg State. I used to help out with other friends who were film and TV students, and it's tech. I have over 20 years of experience as an IT professional, mostly with server administration and networking, but tech is tech, so turn it off, turn it on again, kind of thing.
That usually works.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I'll open it up to questions from the board.
My first thought was I think there's only one spot for AgCom, and it looks like there's 3 people that were interested. So then I thought maybe stormwater, but it doesn't sound like there's a lot of interest in stormwater, and it sounds like your background's more
bash stormwater.
public
No.
access.
Stormwater is important.
Don't.
Jenny.
So, with
I think it just makes more sense
with
based off your
ag,
background.
I would
public
defer to my wife
Yeah.
on that
Okay.
because I'm just good with the shovel. So.
Yeah,
She's
so my
actually
thought,
got the animal experience. So.
my thought maybe public access, but possibly stormwater.
I'm not really sure what Stormwater Task Force does,
Oh, Miss
other than
It's
other than
so
ensure
exciting.
that the water is clean, and that we make sure that all the runoff that's going into Lake Shirley and everywhere, Whalum.
It's actually
and everywhere.
really important, and it's
Yeah.
gonna, it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
assume
coming
it's
up
really
at-
important.
at
It's
town
mostly
meeting.
pollution based.
So putting that aside for now, because I am biased on that, I did see another person with the last name Muzzy, and I kind of
Yes.
thought it was husband and wife, and you guys confirmed it earlier.
Yep.
And you both indicated your first choice was AgCom, so I'd kind of like to take the advantage of both people in the household, and one go to take the AgCom and one go somewhere else. Your wife didn't indicate anywhere else, so
Yeah.
sorry.
She's the boss anyway, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
But seriously, stormwater, we do have a vacancy. We've had a vacancy for a long time. There's another member in the audience. I can tell you a little bit about it now. Bill Bernard is great to work with, DPW director. He leads us. We are discussing a stormwater utility, so that's where and we have a consultant that we work with as well. Meets once a month. You can contact me if you're interested. But yeah, PAC was the other committee and there are 2 openings on PAC. So,
Yeah, definitely send me info on the stormwater, and I'll look into it. I mean, PAC is like an easy fit for me as far as technology-wise, and plus I've had, granted, it was, when did I graduate college? 97, so it was a long time ago that I was dealing with cameras and whatnot, but.
I mean, I don't want to sway you. This is, even when I'm interviewing for work, I want it to be a good match. I want people who like what they're doing are going to do it better. They're going to be more invested and more committed, so, yeah.
So do you want us to help you get more information on
Yes,
Stormwater Task
please.
Force and PAC?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we are going to pick this up on Tuesday, June 17th.
Okay.
So if you wanted to come back, that would be the time to come back for an actual appointment.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, and now I'll invite up Kim.
Hello, Kim Muzzy, 659 West Townsend Road. So I haven't really been very active with the town over the years because I've been raising my children, and now they're growing up on me. And I have been a small farm owner since 2004, but I've been an animal science person since I graduated college. About 27 years of experience with large animals and small animals. I've worked at 4 vet clinics, I've worked in 2 horse barns, I've worked in a livestock barn. It's my life. I want to take a more active role in supporting the agricultural community. I've seen dairy farms go under. I don't like seeing it, it breaks my heart. I want to see more active, I want to take a more active role with that, supporting the local farms, buy local. I think that's really important nowadays. It's more important now than ever, and I'd like to be part of that.
All right, thank you, Kim. Open it up to questions from the board.
Thank you for stepping up, and I think you'd be a great fit for AgCom.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo, for everybody who filled out applications, thank you, thank you, thank you. And your experience is a really good match for AgCom. Have you watched any of their meetings or talked to anyone?
No,
Or
I
any
have not.
members? Okay.
This is fairly new to me.
I think we have someone here. No?
We do, we have the chair of the
Yeah.
Agricultural Commission here.
I don't have a lot of information. I started looking into it when a friend of ours became appointed selectman. And so I said
May I
maybe
ask
I
who your
should.
friend is?
Glenn McLeod.
Okay, just wondering. It doesn't influence the decision, just curious.
No, but he made me
I
think
know.
about, he made me start thinking about it. I said, what could I do
Oh, okay.
to get involved with the town? And, well, agricultural, that's me.
All right, cool. So there is a current vacancy on the Agricultural Commission that is set to expire next June. We could appoint you to that one. I don't know how certain you are of this. If you would like, we could definitely connect you with the chair of the Agricultural Commission so that maybe you can attend one of their meetings and learn
Sure.
a little more. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay, great. So we can do that, and then we can have you come back in on the 17th as well for an appointment.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kim. It was
Thank
nice
you.
meeting you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Nice
night.
meeting you. Thank you.
All right.
Any other new applicants? I'm not sure.
Not that I think we're going to cover tonight.
Let me just ask if there's any other new applicants.
Well, I think that'll be, and we're gonna, yeah. All right. So now what we can do is go through, well, I guess it doesn't matter. We could do the spreadsheet or let's just go through the spreadsheet because that's what I have open. So if we open up the spreadsheet, board, committee, commission, interest list, we're gonna go through by each board and commission and identify the ones that we're gonna have to interview. So Agricultural Commission, we already covered that. Would any members like to interview the candidates that are up for reappointment? Okay. And it's not contested, so we don't have to invite everyone in. Well, actually, since we could just reappoint them tonight.
You
Yeah, if
could.
no one wants to
If-
reappoint them.
So it's Jacqueline
Yep.
Shabbat and Kara McClellan?
Okay, so is there a motion to reappoint Jacqueline Chabot and Kara McClellan to the Agricultural Commission, terms to expire June 30th, 2028?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, APDC, we have one vacancy and 2 terms expiring. Both of the current sitting members have expressed interest in being reappointed, Anthony Scolambrini and William Lloyd. I also got a resident from Leominster who is interested in being appointment, which we're not considering, but just as a note there. Any board members would like to invite them in for an interview?
No.
No.
All right, is there a motion to reappoint Anthony Scolambrini and William Lloyd to the APDC, term to expire June 30th, 2028?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, now this one's kind of a, all right, we'll skip over that. So Conservation Commission, we are going to do that on Tuesday, June 17th. There are 4 candidates for 3 spots. Sure. What?
We have one current.
I know, I think it's easier to do all of them at the same night, and we've coordinated availability on June 17th, because we identified early on that this was contested. I guess we could do it over the course of 2 meetings. I prefer to just do it all in one night. But
I'm looking at Mary to see if she's available.
I know. I will say, though, we won't really be able to make a decision on it tonight until we interview everyone, right? So it would be nice to interview everyone the same night, so it's fresh in our memory. There's no bias about who we just interviewed, who interviewed first. So that's sort of what we were thinking.
Fine by me if it's fine with the Conservation Commission.
It's good with you? Okay. Thank you. All right, Council on Aging. Same situation. We have 5 applicants for 4 seats. They have all been invited to the next Council on Aging meeting and invited to our meeting on the 17th. Cultural Council. Let's see here. Doesn't look like there's anyone here we can reappoint, because I don't think we've gotten forms for the 2 current members. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. So if the 2 members whose terms are expiring June 30, 2025, are still interested in serving on Cultural Commission, if you could indicate your interest to me. I've sent you a couple emails. That would be great.
All right, we can revisit that then. All right, Green Communities. We have 1 member, term to expire June 30th, 2025. Let's see.
And then 2
And 2,
associate.
yep, and 2 associate members as well. And then we have, okay. So we could reappoint him if no one wants to bring him in for an interview.
Wait, who's being reappointed?
Matthew Snyder?
Oh, because I'm looking at the Word document, it says, haven't been able to.
We confirm that he's interested in being
Okay.
appointed.
I just don't have his form,
We don't
but
have the
he's-
form. Sorry, I forgot that one.
I'm working off the Word documents that
Okay.
spreadsheet. Okay.
We can hold off.
That's where all my
fine.
notes are.
Yeah, we can hold off if you want.
No, that's fine. Great if he's willing to.
Okay. All right, cool. Is there a motion to appoint Matthew Snyder to the Green Communities Commission, or Committee, term to expire June 30th, 2028?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Oh, second.
It's all right. Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, Historical Commission, we already covered. Personnel, nothing there. PAC, nothing. Stormwater Task Force, nothing. All right, Zoning Board of Appeals, we have 1 vacancy and 3 terms expiring, and 3 current members are interested in being reappointed. So we have Alfred Gravel, Donald Gurney, and Anthony Nicastro. Would we like to invite these candidates in for an interview?
They're all returning?
Yes.
No.
No.
All right. Is there a motion to reappoint Alfred Gravel, Donald Gurney, and Anthony Nicastro to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire June 30th, 2028?
Mr. Chairman, can we just, before that motion is seconded,
sure.
to add on to it that Donald Gurney and Anthony Nicastro's positions are as associate members?
Thank you. Good catch. I amend my motion to the effect that the town manager just said.
So it was a motion, so second.
Was there a second? Okay.
Okay.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. Okay. And finally, we have the Bylaw Review Committee. So we did create this committee. The town moderator appoints 2 people, and he has already made those appointments. He appointed, well, I know off the top of my head, but I should probably pull it up. So it was Rob Bowen, and I forget the other person. Her name is escaping me, but I'm
Nancy
aware.
Gray?
Nancy Gray, that's right. Nancy Gray, and they both have served, it is my understanding, on the bylaw review committee before, so they're familiar with the periodic bylaw review process. We also have 2 appointments to make as well, and we received 1 applicant, Jen Duffy, who is interested in serving on the bylaw review committee, and I am interested in serving on the committee as well. So we can interview the 2 of us, I guess. We could make the appointment tonight, or we could hold off. I know this isn't technically one of our annual reappointments. We do normally add committees that are like this in, so you'll notice we also have the 300th committee under that as well. So what do board members think?
So, personally, if Ms. Duffy wants to, since you made the trip in, give you an opportunity to speak.
Yes, Jen, that's fine.
Hi, I'm Jen Duffy. I'm at 684 Flat Hill Road. I'm interested in the bylaw review committee because I have a vested interest in living here. I plan on being here for a while. In my past experiences before moving to Lunenburg, I was in a condo association of, I think, 350 or so units, and I was part of the board there as vice president, I think was technically the title. And one of the activities that we did was to go through the bylaws of the HOA and the rules and regulations and see how they fit and what was outdated and what we needed to revise. So I think it's something that I can contribute. And in my professional life, I do a lot of reading and writing in regulatory affairs. So I think it would align well. And did you say there's 2 spots and then 2 of us? Okay.
Yes. All right, any questions or comments for Jen?
Thank you for volunteering.
Sure. Thank you, and I think your background aligns well, and you're on Master Planning Steering Committee too?
No, that's my sister.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your sister, okay.
We get that a lot.
Sure. Do you want to say something?
Nope.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, cool. Is there a motion to appoint Jen Duffy to the bylaw review committee?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, I guess we can consider my application as well. It's okay if I'm not appointed, but I will say that the reason that I really would like to be on, because I think it is very important for us in the absence of a personnel committee to really make sure that we go through the salary administration plan. So that's really why I'd like to be appointed.
I'll make a motion to appoint Cesar Nizzolo to the bylaw review committee.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, and the last one here is the 300th committee.
So, do we have to appoint, or do we need a
No,
motion
there's-
for the town moderators?
No, he makes those appointments himself.
Okay.
And then just as a note, the 300th committee, we have 2 people who expressed interest. We lost one of the volunteer forms with Annie's departure, and the other one hasn't submitted it yet, so we can pick those back up at our next meeting. All right, and I think, the town manager annual appointments. Okay, so it's under the same boards, committees, and commissions folder. Go to FY 2026 Town Manager Annual Appointments.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm asking that the board approve all of these this evening, except for the Americans with Disabilities Committee tonight. I haven't heard back from the candidate yet. So the appointments would be Building Commissioner Brian Gingras, with Assistant Building Commissioner William Heslett, Dam Keeper Ronald Wilson, Assistant Dam Keeper Rich Patry, Emergency Management Director Fire Chief Patrick Sullivan, the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Services Races Control Officer, Ralph Swick, the Assistant Races Officer, Brian LeBlanc, Member to Races, Janine Swick, Hazardous Waste Coordinator, myself, Inspector of Plumbing and Gas, as recommended by the Building Commissioner, Gary Williams, Assistant Inspector of Plumbing and Gas, as recommended by the Building Commissioner, Jeremy Pierce, Public Weighers, as provided by P.J. Keaton, Dina Brandt, Erin Morin, Jay Valeri, Mike Reynolds, Jen Oliveira. Inspector of Wires, as recommended by the Building Commissioner, Baron Bowser. Assistant Wiring Inspector, as recommended by the Building Commissioner, Jack Beery. Town Clerk Winders, Tom Alonso, Lou Franco, Mike Kidney, Chuck Venezia, William Tyler, George Martin, and Veteran Services Officer, Michelle Durkee. We'll do the
All right,
police.
do you want to read these ones too, since you're going through all of them?
Oh, sure. Okay. Need to get to them. Police. All right. So, in addition, Lunenburg police officers, full-time officers, Chief Jeffrey Thibodeau, Lieutenant Sean Zrate, Sergeant John Moriali, Sergeant Paul Theodolu. I can't. Can you help me? Theodolu. Sergeant Jacob LaChance, Detective Joshua Matthew, Officer Jonathan Brock, SRO Bradley McNamara, SRO Cameron Monroe, Officer John Wagner, Officer Gage Russell, Officer Cameron Monroe, Officer Anthony Capucci, Officer Jeffrey Hill, Officer Jesse Reed, Officer George Tibbetts, Officer Jenna Moore, Officer Joel Ortega. Reserve officers, Robert DaCosta, Benjamin Campbell, Paul Duquette. Civilian traffic officers, Paul Bozikas, Tony Brennan, John Hazelrig, Dan Bourgeois, Aaron Robichaud, Tyler Thibodeau, Aaron Fields, Robert DiCanza.
All right, any questions for the town manager on any of those appointments? Hearing none, is there a motion to appoint all of the individuals as presented by the town manager?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right. Moving on, we have the ratification of the town manager's appointment of Michael Gale as Administrative Assistant for Conservation.
Yes, so Mr. Gale is a resident of Lunenburg who has recently retired, and he is excited to give back to his local community. He has served the community in various capacities previously, and will be joining us as 10 hours a week as Administrative Assistant to Conservation.
Any questions for the town manager?
When does he start?
He will be starting either this week or next, so it's imminent.
Good.
All right, is there a motion?
I move to ratify town manager's appointment of Michael Gale as Administrative Assistant to Conservation.
Second?
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I forgot to vote aye. Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, ratification of the town manager's appointment of Brianna Bowser as seasonal lifeguard.
Yep, so Miss Bowser is a returner for us, and this is the last lifeguard appointment of this crew.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I will move to ratify town manager's appointment of Brianna Bowser as seasonal lifeguard.
Second?
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. And one more, ratification of the town manager's appointment of Anthony Senesi as board clerk/secretary for the Parks Commission.
Yes, so Mr. Senesi is employed full-time at the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission. He has worked for a number of communities doing this work for select boards, and so he is going to be helping out the Parks Commission fully remote doing their minutes.
Perfect. Any questions?
How many hours is this then?
It's, the hours are not defined, it's as needed based
Okay.
on the preparation for the meetings and doing the minutes.
But he can do it still working full-time.
Oh, 100%.
All right, is there a motion?
I move to ratify town manager's appointment of Anthony Senesi as the board clerk secretary for the Parks Commission.
Second?
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, town manager report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the first item is more of an announcement, actually. The Lunenburg Police and Fire Memorial will be this Sunday, June 8th, 2025, beginning at 9 a.m. at the Lunenburg Public Safety Building. The ceremony commemorates those from the Lunenburg Police and Fire Departments who have passed. So if you are able to join us on Sunday, please do so. In addition, the Lunenburg High School graduation is this Saturday, June 7th, beginning at 10 a.m. Select board members have been invited to attend. If you are planning to attend and have not yet RSVP'd, please do so. And congratulations to the class of 2025. We look forward to celebrating you. The long-awaited conversion to our financial software cloud-based Munis system was completed last Friday. Overall, I would say that the transition went smooth. There were a few bugs that were quickly triaged between Finance Director Ezekiel Ayala, Munis, and the town's IT vendor. I really want to thank Ezzy for spearheading this transition and seeing it through to the finish line. So now that we are 100% in the cloud. The next step is to get the employee self-service portal going. That'll take about 3 months to fully integrate that, but then it will really help streamline our operations in terms of time off and calculating benefit time and payroll time. So excited for that transition. Next announcement, tri-board meetings. So we had some conversations with the select board, with finance committee, with school committee about what does the budget look like? How do we get there? There's been a lot of different conversations. So in an effort to develop a plan for the FY27 budget, a 3-year financial forecast, and identify and discuss consolidations and efficiencies, the finance director and I have developed a proposed timeline for tri-board meetings that run from July to January. Tri-boards being the select board, the school committee, and the finance committee. The schedule is very aggressive once we put it down to paper. In fact, starting in July, we're going to be running right up against it to get to December. But I think it's doable. It's aggressive, but doable. Before those start, and just to make sure that everybody's on board, the chair has invited the chairs of the other 2 committees to set up a meeting next week, as well as staff. We are hopeful, and I think that she's going to be able to attend, but that Dr. Fortuna, the new superintendent, who will be officially starting in July, has indicated that she'll be able to join us for this conversation as well. And then department heads will be viewing the schedule tomorrow at the department head meeting for their first impressions of it, but essentially getting their marching orders of where to begin and where they fall. Are there any questions about that particular one? Okay. All right. The town has received notification that the owners of 222 West Townsend Road are intending to sell their property. This parcel is currently in Chapter 61B status, recreational land. And so, in accordance with the Select Board's right of first refusal policy, the notification that we received has been sent to Town Council. Town Council will determine the sufficiency of the notice. If the notice is deemed sufficient, it sets the clock back to the day after it was mailed. So we have 30 days for various boards to weigh in. So I have already sent the notification to the Board of Assessors, Planning Board, Conservation, Open Space, and Agricultural Commission, letting them know they have until June 29th to provide feedback or input to the Select Board on the property. The building commissioner is going to be transitioning select board licenses and permits to the OpenGov software. I will be asking the chair to place this particular item on an agenda for a vote, but just to highlight it, as part of this process, I will need a vote of the select board as to how the board would like to sign off on the new licenses and permits. Right now, you are signing wet ink. With this transition, we can have it set up that you'll get a DocuSign and you can affirmatively affix your signature via DocuSign, or we can set it up where once we enter in the date that the board approved it, that the system will automatically generate the signatures to affix to the licenses and permits. So think about your preference. We can discuss it in the future, and we are going to be beginning with the special event permit first to get that one on there, as that is most likely to be encountered over the summer month, and it's a little cumbersome. Accounting training. So I have asked the finance director to schedule an FY26 kickoff training session in June for all staff members that process and touch invoices. For some, this will be a reminder of best practices for how you maintain your accounts and track your expenditures throughout the year. And for some, this might be a first-time learning opportunity. So we are planning to film the training so that it can be used as a teaching tool for future staff members or those who need a refresher. Records retention training. In advance of the TC Passios cleanout, I'm holding a records retention training for staff, as some are very unfamiliar with the process, and perhaps this has been a barrier to purging. So we're going to go through that and begin the summer of the purge at TC Passios. There's quite a lot of paper over there. The Neshoba Associated Boards of Health have announced that they will be pausing their monthly nursing hours and blood pressure clinics for the months of July and August due to staffing changes and uncertainty around grant funding. The Senior Center Director is aware, or the Adult Activity Center Director is aware, but for folks that were planning on attending one of the July or August clinics, unfortunately those have been canceled. Next Monday is the Goals and Objectives Workshop. So I have placed in your June 9th folder prior fiscal year Select Board and Town Manager goals and objectives, as well as examples from other communities, as well as goal-setting tools. So some of those are helpful for you to review in advance of Monday. And we are the beginning stages of planning a summer staff event and are looking at August for a date, but stay tuned. Okay, recruitment, no project updates of significance to apprise the board of this week, but updates for recruitment. The administrative assistant planning position at 36 hours per week has been advertised with an anticipated start date of July 1st. Applications have been a little slow to come in for this position, so if you know anybody that might be interested in that position, please encourage them to apply, but we are going to start the interviews next week. We still have the dietary aide position at the Adult Activity Center at 9 hours per week. And then the land use director. So just today, I executed a contract with Jasmine Farinacci, who will be providing interim planning director consulting services to the town during this period. She will be working primarily remotely at 20 hours per week, but her contract requires that she provide a minimum of 4 hours of virtual office hours, where she can be available to residents, developers, and any applicants that have questions. Matt Brenner, as you know, has been really over there as chair of the planning board, handling a lot of things for the planning department, but his time is coming to an end. So I appreciate so much Matt's ability to step in, but now Jasmine is going to be stepping in that capacity. She is fully remote as she has a full-time job in another community. So why isn't this just posted? We talked about this a little bit last time, but discussions are ongoing regarding the reconfiguration of the land use director position. There are several elements of this position that are atypical, particularly the oversight of the land use director over the building commissioner, as well as over other land use departments. This particular structure it possibly makes the position less desirable to folks on the market who really have a planning and economic development mindset. So a meeting was held last week with the building commissioner, planning board chair, and assistant town manager, and we are now at the point where we're inviting, and you should see in your emails, chairs of the Conservation Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals to weigh in, and we're looking to have that meeting next week. I do have a question out to Labor Council about the configuration of this position as well, and that may kind of direct how we go. In my opinion, I don't believe it needs to go to town meeting, but that may be a question. And the communications and IT manager position that is we talked about at town meeting, it's not a new headcount, but it is a new position that was advertised at 32 hours per week. It was posted today. It's internal posting only, due June 17th, 2025. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jen. Are there any questions for the town manager?
I have 2 topics.
Okay.
One, the bridge at Flat Hill. Where do we stand on that?
So I can answer some questions in an open session on the bridge at Flat Hill. It does remain a legal dispute.
Okay. So no change?
No change. I will say that our legal counsel has been having a very difficult time in communicating with the counsel for the vendor. I have been told that tomorrow there is going to be a check-in.
Okay.
And then we'll see. There is nothing, since communications have been initiated through council, I have not heard any new information.
Okay, that's fine. Then my other questions are regarding Munis. So we are currently on the latest version?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Sewer bills.
Yes.
When are they due to go out? I'm curious of how and if, and hopefully it will help the sewer bills going, because they've had issues
Yeah, I know
processing them,
the
right?
last sewer bill processing was problematic. So I'm not sure when they go out, but I'm happy to
Yeah,
check
just-
in and circle back via email with the board.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how, they go quarterly? Is it quarterly? I think they're quarterly.
And they just would have done them.
They should be doing them now, yeah. Should have gone out maybe. Anyway, yeah,
Well, I think it was just 3 weeks ago or so that there was an issue when they were,
okay.
so that was pre-conversion.
Yeah, so let's,
But I will check in and I will update you via email.
okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions for the town manager? All right, moving on to new business. Acceptance of cash gifts from the Women's Club and the Friendly Seniors for the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center. So this was in the amount of $400, I believe. And this is an annual gift that's given to the Council on Aging. Are there any questions on that?
Is it I saw 3 numbers now.
Did you? I
Well,
only
you
saw
said
one.
400, 300's in the subject, and in the email I thought I saw
300 is in
500.
the subject, but it's wrong.
Oh, there's 400, okay. Then I thought I saw 500 somewhere.
So there's 2 different gifts.
So it is 400, just confirm?
So the Friendly Seniors is 500. And
Okay, I'm not seeing that now.
so Friendly Seniors is 500, and the Women's Club
Is
gift is 400.
400.
Okay.
Okay. I see, I didn't realize there were 2 separate.
There's 2 separate gifts.
Yeah,
Email chains. Okay. Any questions on that?
no.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the cash gifts from the Women's Club and the Friendly Seniors for the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center?
So moved.
Second.
Any additional discussion?
We don't need the amounts in the motion?
The gifts were as described.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's probably sufficient.
All right, those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, vote to declare 36 police department phones as surplus. They are not able to be used anymore. I believe they're going to be recycled. And that's pretty much it,
E-waste.
right? E-waste. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to declare the 36 police department phones as surplus.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, and consent to sublease under land lease agreement between Cellco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless in the town of Lunenburg. And this one, I'm going to pass off to the town manager.
So this is, probably sounds more complicated than it is, but there is a cell phone tower, communications tower, that is located adjacent to the track at the school. That the town has a lease with Cellco, DBA, Verizon Wireless for that area. In the original lease agreement, which was signed in 2017, there is a provision that the town will not unreasonably withhold their consent to a sublease. And so now we are at the position where there is such a sublease arrangement. Essentially, it's a big corporate merger. So Verizon and this company, Vertical Bridge, have entered into an agreement where Vertical Bridge is going to lease all of Verizon's towers and then rent back space on said towers for them to put their equipment on the towers. So I talked to town council. We have no standing to withhold our consent. So essentially, this is just a confirmatory vote. But the motion would be to authorize the chairman to execute the consent to sublease for New Singular Wireless PCS LLC or one of its affiliates, specifically AT&T.
All right. Up first, are there any questions about any of that? Okay. Is there a motion then?
I was going to move the town manager's motion
Okay.
that she read.
Second.
All right. Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously. All right, old business, we're going to fly through this. Discussion on sick leave bank policy, we're going to pick back up when we have the full board. Same thing with discussion on acceptance of gift policy. Tax investigation report, I do not have an updated copy of that for us to review tonight. Ms. Emke mentioned that there were certain sentences that were just cut off. We would like to figure out what those are, and that is not complete yet. So we will bring that up on June 17th. 56 Carr Ave, seller hold. So 2 things, there's the appraisal and then the site walk. Is there any update on the appraisal?
Yes, the original appraiser that we had wanted to execute a contract with is too busy. So we are on to Plan B for an appraisal.
Okay. Any questions on that? All right, so we had mentioned that we want to schedule a site visit. We might as well just wait until we have the full board. So I guess there's nothing to talk about that. All right, discussion and potential vote on budget task force for FY26. So we had talked about this previously with the previous board. We didn't formally vote, but it seems like we're all sort of in agreement about how to move forward, that we're not going to have a budget task force and that we're just going to do this with joint meetings in collaboration with staff. Any other discussion on that?
No, I fully support that. I've had some discussions with town manager. I know it's come up at other committees, FinCom, school committee, this board, and department heads. I know town managers talked with department heads, and I really feel that everyone is fully committed and on board. And I think the biggest thing is time. That getting started now, yesterday. And in the town manager's weekly report, it indicated that a schedule's already mapped out, starting in July. So this is related to one of the goals I want to bring forward next week. But yeah, I think that tri-board plan is a good one. And I fully trust that everyone is really invested and on task with this.
Agreed. That's certainly been my impression so far, so.
I agree.
All right, so do we want to vote on not creating a budget task force this year? I left it open just in case we wanted to vote on that.
Votes are always good.
They are. All right, so is there a motion?
I move not to recharge the budget task force for FY27.
Second.
Any additional discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passes unanimously.
That was a negative motion. That
Oh, it's
sounded
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Robert, in
Right,
his
yeah.
rules, will come and get you.
I know.
It's not preferred, but it is okay.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
felt not right.
That's fine. All right, minutes. We don't have any tonight. Warrants. Do we have warrants tonight?
No.
Noticing. Okay. And action items. Are there any action items?
Do we want to write a letter to legislators about the Job Corps and Devon's closing?
I'm not aware of this, but I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Federally, the entire Job Corps program has.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. Missed that one. All right, yeah, I'll look up that and we could consider it if we want to. All right, any other action items? Committee reports.
Yes. Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee is going to be meeting on Thursday. School committee met on May 21st. The chair is now Anthony Scullambrini, vice chair Laura Brzezowski, secretary Mandy Gilman. Laura Brzezowski is going to be the new Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee member. Peter Beardmore is going to stay on as capital planning. They did send a letter to the legislators on Chapter 70 funding. They're meeting tomorrow. They are going to recognize some of their retirees. They're going to go over the school handbook, and there'll be a facilities and grounds report, and they're going to review their operating protocols. And then June 18th, I believe, is Dr. Burnham's last meeting, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Great.
And then one more. The Board of Assessors met on May 19th. There were 13 abutters requests. The exemptions for FY26, they had 132 real estate exemptions, 30 motor vehicle abatements. May 12th, they started the inspections. Josh from Vision Appraisals. There were notice to residents and postcards, but they said it was going to be impossible to do daily notifications. It is interior or not. It's up to the citizen if they wish. They also talked about chapter land applications, forestry, which is 61, 61A is agriculture, and 61B is recreational. They had the FY26 growth of $333,842.29. The assessed was $23 million. It was estimated at 400,000. June 30th, they were going to follow up. And they discussed the lien on, I think it was 100 Townsend Road. Maybe it was a different number, but the Townsend Road property.
Yeah.
Townsend Harbor?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they talked about Clause 18, the tax breaks. And then they were planning to meet on June 11th, July 16th, and August 13th. That's all I had.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, Stormwater Task Force, still here, met last Thursday. So we are looking at a tiered fee structure for the stormwater utility. Still discussing on what those tiers look like. And we had some follow-up questions for the consultant at CEI, and hopefully he can join our next meeting to finalize what we will be bringing forward as a proposal and presenting to different committees. I think we're trying, scheduling in summertime is hard. I think we're actually meeting maybe next week. We will meet once in June sometime.
Great.
That's it.
I don't have any committee reports. All right, upcoming meetings, we're having our goals workshop Monday, June 9th, and as a reminder for members, it's going to be at 6 p.m. and it's going to be in the Ritter Building downstairs. And then June 17th, public comment. Are there any public comments from the town manager?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So I just wanted to echo some of the chairman's sentiments that he made in his public comment at the beginning. I think it's really important, especially in today's day and age, that you speak out affirmatively against hate when you see it. Lunenburg has no place for hate, and the comments that were made to Mr. Brown and his daughter on Memorial Day were absolutely disgusting and vile. And I reached out to Mr. Brown today and spoke with him, but that doesn't take away what his daughter had to hear for the first time at 10 years old while enjoying a fishing trip with her dad. So I just, it's important that we speak out when we see things that are completely unacceptable.
Thank you. Are there any public comments from the public? Mr. Rogers.
Bill Rogers, my cousin, we do it every Tuesday night. Dave Rogers, 82 Highland Street. I have a few things I'd like to discuss. The first is I would like to publicly acknowledge the fine work that the cemetery committee and the staff did on the cemeteries for Memorial Day. As a historic perspective, I have been critical in the past when things weren't done right. So I thought it only fair to come up and say thank you because it was really a good job. So thank them. The second thing is relative to the stormwater situation. I went down Townsend Harbor Road, and on the right-hand side, where the old dump used to be, and there were, 4 to 6 houses in there, and I looked at the flow of the water, and I'm making a request that committee look at that area to see if there's any seepage, as I think there might be, into Hickory Hills, because it's, someone that's more experienced than I should take a look at it, because I have reason to believe that there might be some seepage into the lake. The other thing that I would like to comment on is I think it was, 2, maybe 3 meetings ago, the town manager talked about business development person or that whole scenario, and obviously I don't think I got it right, but I wondered if you could expand upon that sometime. And I have some pretty strong feelings about that, and just to kick that thing around, because I think it's a very interesting concept, but it's not without its concerns. And I just wonder how it would interplay with the budget and that kind of thing. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, through you, if I may ask, are you talking about the land use director position?
No.
No.
And maybe I heard it wrong because my hearing isn't that good. I thought I heard you say something about the business development aspect of the town well, I guess, yeah, with the land use, yeah, there would be some synergism there. Yeah, sure.
This was kind of covered in my manager's report, so I'm happy to expound upon it a little bit further here. So the land use director, as it currently is, that title, their primary functions are that of a planning director and economic development director. In addition to the planning and economic development components, they also oversee the building commissioner, which some would argue is against statute. They also oversee the zoning board of appeals, conservation, and my point was that structure of overseeing essentially almost every department that we have in Ritter is not how you typically see that in the market. Typically, you see the position as a director, something like Director of Planning and Economic Development, and that they are really focused on those areas and not focused on overseeing the other adjacent land use
My point
departments.
exactly. And I just was interested, and I'd like to learn more about it.
Sure.
Is it on a preliminary basis? Is the intent to have that a paid position?
Right. So right now, it's a vacant position. It has been a paid position. The intent is to keep it a paid position, the Planning and Economic Development Director. And then it would be to, as I'm currently thinking about it, that instead of the building commissioner answering to that person, that there's a direct line between the town manager and the building commissioner, there's a direct line between the conservation agent and the town manager, a direct line between ZBA and the town manager, and that it's really just removing the oversight of the other departments at Ritter. With the market being what it is for specialized municipal positions, I don't honestly believe that stripping away some of those other duties would result in a lower salary for the person that would likely take that job. It would probably be comparable. But I will say that this position, the last time it was filled in October. It had been open, and we had a number of consultants in the town for almost, I think it was the better part of a year.
Right.
When it was open last time, as it is currently designed. And the feedback, some of the feedback that we've received is the folks who work in this area that are called to this vocation, those same types of folks that think about planning and think about project development and think about business development often aren't the same types of folks that are overseeing the building commissioner. It's just a different kind of, approach to work that they have.
All right. Who was that person?
So currently, the position is vacant, but it was Christopher Riley. Prior to that, it was Adam Burney.
Okay.
So the land use director was Adam Burney for a number of years. And so he had that kind of odd configuration where he was over the same configuration that we have over the other departments.
All right, that's fine. I don't want to belabor the point, but I'd be very interested in hearing more about this because my considered opinion is that it needs some refinement and some directing. And I'm also concerned about the span of control, so-called, and wonder how the organization would be. I will tell you as an aside, I have received some calls regarding some concern about the way permits are given, and it's kind of convoluted, not because of the town, but because of the individuals and their inability to understand and to really, go with the flow of how approvals are given and that sort of thing. The rumor mill is that, it's tough to do business in Lunenburg. Well, my considered opinion is that it may, but the folks in the offices and the positions that are involved in this are top-notch, top shelf. The problem is the applicants aren't conversed with, the right situation, and there's some education. So I think that whole thing can be really, streamlined. Plus, the other thing, from a practical standpoint, if you look at Lunenburg and say, okay, what kind of industry could we bring in? There's not a lot of it. There's some of it, but there's not a lot of it. And the most concerning comments I've heard has been just in the flow of the process, so-called, and the information and the various committees that have to be looked upon and meeting. And therein lies the thing. So it's a doable thing, but I think I just wanted to get some more information, if I could.
Sure.
And
when I
heard
to chat.
the business development end of things, Adam Burney, he did not do business development as I understood it. I mean, he was very helpful and very knowledgeable, but he was not going out, soliciting help and that kind of thing. And that, in the strict sense, is business development.
Right, so assisting applicants through the various processes, and depending on how it looks. But we wouldn't be setting up an economic development corporation where we are proactive. That usually happens outside of formal town government. That's usually a quasi business development organization. That we don't have that system set up to really be actively soliciting folks for certain parcels. I'm not contemplating it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about that.
Sure.
And I'm not interested in being on a committee, but I would like the opportunity to give my 2 cents, because I have a bunch of ideas about this. Okay? That's it. My last concern is I noticed that on the agenda for you folks will be the goals and objectives and what have you. If you were to take care of 3/4 of the things that are on your plate, I think it would be fantastic. My considered opinion, again, is that I don't think you need to be looking for stuff. You've got plenty of stuff to handle. And, so anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. It's more like $1.50 the way I talked.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Ms. Duffy.
Hi, Jen Duffy, 684 Flat Hill Road. I just wanted to announce the farmers market that's coming up for the AdCom for this year. We're holding a monthly farmers market instead of a weekly farmers market. In the past, we felt that it's a little too often for our community. So our first event will be on June 13th, and we're doing something a little different this year. We're going to do Fridays from 4 to 7. It'll be held on the green between the library and the DC Patios, where we did the Ag Fair in the fall, which was a great space. It gave us a lot of room. It gave us a lot of not so close to the road and a lot of places spread out. So we think that's a great spot for as long as it's available. So I just wanted to note Fridays from 4 to 7 on June 13th, July 11th, August 8th, and September 12th. And we will do a similar event in the fall like we did last fall with the expanded scope with 4-H and some other extras on September 27th. So we hope to see people there and have a good community turnout.
Thanks, Ms. Duff.
Thanks.
So, to the town manager, can we put that on the town website?
Absolutely.
Is there a
Absolutely will.
Yep.
flyer or something that you have?
All right, Mr. Passios.
Muted.
You're still muted.
Oh, if he knows that he's muted.
You found it.
Helps if you click on the right spot. Dave Passios, 1976 Presidential Highway, Jefferson, New Hampshire. Speaking to you as the vice chair of the Green Communities, but my comments affect other appointed committees also. There's a discrepancy or a number of discrepancies in the expiration dates of members on various committees up on the website on each committee's page. Case in point, the Green Communities is showing 3 members expiring in 1 year. We're a 5-member committee. There should be 2, 2, and 1 in expirations in rotation. There are other committees that have issues similar to that still need to be looked into and see if it's a typo or if something during the appointing process was not verified properly. Interesting you mentioned Mr. Beardmore. His expiration on the website page for the Capital Planning Committee as the school committee representative is an expiration date of June 2024. That would have been a year ago. So I'm sure some of this has just been lost in translation. A lot of time was put into this by Annie and the former town manager, and supposedly it was all straightened out, but it's definitely not. Lastly, there is either a misunderstanding or a discrepancy between the definition of an alternate member versus an associate member on these appointed committees. Mr. Chair, I sent you a message via messenger or directly to your phone, I don't remember which, that kind of lays it out roughly. And my understanding has always been over the years that an alternate appointment is a person who is alternately appointed to a committee and is able to step in as a voting member when there's lack of a quorum for a particular meeting. And that's managed by the chair of that committee. So we have both membership types listed on different committee pages. There needs to be some research done there and get that sorted out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Passios. All right, any other public comments? Seeing none. Oh, any public comments from the board?
No.
All right. All right, with that, I will move to enter into executive session and not re-enter open session after exiting executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and the chair so declares. And this is for the International Brotherhood of Police Officers, Local 353.
Second.
Oh, I made the motion. My apologies. This will be a roll call vote. Mr. Layton.
Aye.
Ms. Emke.
Aye.
And I for myself. We are now in executive session. Have a good night, everyone.